the vertical and the human side, right? So we're living in the same time in two dimensions and even more, but these two are the most important ones. So we need to understand that we are spirit, right? Which we cannot define. We don't know who we are, and we cannot understand with our intellect who we are. We need to discover for ourselves in deep silence who we truly are. And this is part of becoming an empowered empath. Because if we consider ourselves only a human, we have a limitation and we cannot really get out of the uh, matrix, let's call it, or this duality or this game of emotions, right? We'll see that in order to be able to manage emotions, to alchemize them, to transform them, because this is such a big gift of empaths, they are powerful alchemists. Our heart is such a powerful transformation station, if we can call it like this, and can transform emotion, energies, not only of ours, but from other people, from the environment. People who come in contact only by being in our presence, they become transformed and they don't know why, they don't understand, but just feel it, even consciously, but mostly unconsciously at some level. So those who are conscious about it will realize it, the others not. But this is part of our mission on Earth, especially as light workers, to not only by doing something outside, but by doing our inner work to become an empowered empath and to let the divine flow, the divine energies, make the changes not only in us, but around us. So I said, this is such an important time we're living in. And this is part of the mission of light workers and star seeds to become these channels so that the new frequencies of the new earth can come and uplift humanity. It's probably strange what you hear from majority of people. Maybe it doesn't make sense, but I'm sure that for you, it will make sense to some point, if you allow it. So, as I said, we are spirit and we have a soul. We are not the soul, we are spirit, we have a soul, and we have a body. Right? So, what is this? What is spirit? As I said, is part of the divine consciousness, infinite consciousness, God, what source, whatever you want to call it. And we have a soul, which is our human part, and it's associated with the mental body, with the emotional body, right? It's the part of us which has multiple incarnations, existence, where it's all the emotions. It's associated with our heart. Here is where our soul lives, in our heart. Um, and has, we can call it our inner child, which is connected to our soul. And we have also other archetypes, but we won't get into so many details now. We don't want to lose the purpose of this course. So, as I said, the soul is the interface between spirit and the material world, is the vehicle through which we experience this incarnation. This, and of course, we have a body, which is another vehicle, even more dense. So, and we have an ego, which has the purpose, which developed in order to protect our heart, our soul. Even from childhood, when we had traumas and difficult experiences, and especially for an empath, right? because we were so sensitive. We experienced this even to a greater extent, even if we had amazing parents, even if nothing seemed so, traumatic from outside. For normal people, would be perfectly untouched. But the more sensitive the soul is, right, the more it is impacted by this grosser dimension, right? Because on Earth, in this 3D dimension, there are a lot of plus and minus, right? So we have to experience the minus as well. So the ego developed in order to protect us from suffering, from pain, from fears. And it's how you want to call it, like an archetype, a mental creation. But you, for me, and I share from my experience and see if this resonates with you, I can talk, identify, personalize the heart, the soul, the inner child, and the ego, the protector, the one who is in charge, who wants to take control, wants to make decisions, and who is actually functioning in the world of time, right? So if we are spirit, which is beyond time, beyond duality, connected to everything, and functions in oneness, the soul, the heart, it's actually, if it's aligned with the spirit, it's also in oneness and experiences joy, love, compassion, and is the instrument, as I said, how the spirit manifests, expresses into this dimension. And it's perfect to have this personality, these traits, to express our gifts. This is where our gifts are, our divine gifts, and it's perfect, and it's what we are supposed to be doing here, to share our hearts, to share our spark, to share our energy with the world, right? But because uh, our heart was closed, right? And we said why. And the ego was created and is in charge. We got lost into the world of duality, the world of time, the world of the mind, which is an illusion, it's a dream. Um, but it's where the ego functions in duality, plus and minus, night and day, pleasure and pain, and so on. So this is the how the ego functions, and it's the ego is associated with the lower chakras, right? Which is first the protection, safety, right, to avoid fears. The second with pleasure and uh, to get more for itself, pleasure. And the third, the individuality, right, control, to be right, to know, to be, um, you know, always in control. And what happens is that our spirit, which is us, I am that I am, right, which is pure consciousness, and we cannot understand it because of all this turmoil of our heart. Our consciousness was pulled down and functions at the level of the ego. And we got lost in the ego's story. And what is happening, all the emotions that we experience, all the thoughts, all the stories that the ego is telling us, we believe that we are it. We identify with this story, with the emotions, and we got lost. Our consciousness, who we are, got lost from our home, heaven, whatever you call it, got lost into this world of illusion, the world of the mind, where the ego is the main actor, and we believe its story. And like in the cinema, when we are drawn, our consciousness is drawn to the movie and we forget about us completely. The same is happening in what we call real life, but it's not the real life, it's just a perceived and personal reality, which is far from the truth. So, because the heart is sensitive, the ego becomes even more powerful in order to protect us. We build so much protections, masks, um, like when we have uh, how you call it, like a pin or something that goes into your hand and it hurts. Um, you put a lot of gloves or protection. You want to control nobody to come even close to touch it. We build, a lot of technologies, to monitor cameras, not to see to anybody to touch us. So a lot of things, we lose a lot of our energies and time and resources in order to protect our wounds, right? To protect us, to protect the inner child, not to experience these feelings which are uncomfortable. So this is the one of the main keys, right, Olivia? Wound, yes. So um, as I said, the more sensitive we are, if we don't bring the second and the other elements into equation, if we live unconscious and we associate with what is happening, the ego will become even more powerful and in control of ourselves, of our lives, and we disconnect more and more from who we truly are, our essence, our gifts. But deep within, and we live a compensating life, right? We do something that is not aligned, we people please, we uh, attend to addictions and to other things to compensate to resolve the pain, right? We develop a lot of mechanisms, which is actually ego's strategies to for quick fixes. This is ego's role to keep us safe, not to experience pain, to experience pleasure, but in a limited consciousness, right? Only in this dimensions, 3D, 4D, the most. But when we connect with our soul, this is the way back, right? But in order to do that, we need to develop also equanimity. What does that mean? It means to be able to stay with the discomfort, to stay with the what is unpleasant, the emotions that come up. So we need to actually to develop all the 3 points: the spirit, which we associate with the higher chakras, and we have this center which is connected with source, with intuition. We have the wisdom, we have the clarity, right? We have the heart, which is the soul, which is where we feel all these emotions, and we have the inner in the abdomen, where is the seat of the ego. At least this is how I see it. This is how I feel it. This is how I talk to them. So we need to integrate all of them. So ego is not our enemy, right? But it when it's we are not aware and our consciousness is drawn to the ego consciousness, right? The ego is in control and rules our lives and ruins our lives. And especially for an empath, it is very challenging because we develop much more protection mechanisms, but our soul is crying because we know deep inside this is not who we are. This is not our true reality. This is not our home. And we feel we're not living in full authenticity. So this is the journey back. And it first starts with awakening, with realizing this, what I just shared. And I hope it brings you more clarity to be able to make this journey way back home and to reclaim our gifts, including the gift of empathy. Does it make sense to you so far? Is it a bit clear what we shared? Does it bring more clarity? You resonate with it? You can post in the chat. Yes, no, maybe. So we'll do some practices, of course, and we'll understand how to manage to deal with the emotions. I want to share what is the most important practice to in dealing with emotions, with the energies, and it's very simple because, of course, we learn to do a lot of clearing the energies, a lot of protection, like shielding, creating um, uh, um, shields, energetic shields, and so on. But the most basic and the most powerful one is this: it's just presence, just being here now. What happens when we feel a lot of discomfort in the present moment, a lot of emotions, energies, negative ones, which are not comfortable? What we tend to do, we tend to run away. And where do we run away? We run away in our minds. Where is our mind? Everywhere. Where is because it's where is energy, so they are connected, right? So we lose our center, where is actually our power, when we are grounded, where we are centered, when we are in our bodies. This is where we are the most powerful. And the physical body is such a precious gift. It's our temple. It's where we can gather all of our energies, the parts of the soul that we lost outside. As I said, in connection to other people, in toxic relationships, addictions, everything else, some events we lost there, some energies got lost there. Also, because we experience things uncomfortable, we tend to leave our bodies to go somewhere on a planet, somewhere where it's nice, but we divide ourselves, right? We split our energy, and this is how we lose our power. So the most important thing, even if you take only this one thing from this course, it will benefit you greatly. Just be here now. And we can do this together if you feel like it. Just center yourself, bring yourself here. You can take a deep breath in and call in your energies. Call in all your parts, like feel like tentacles or energetic strings. Bring them home. Bring them in your body, in your spine, especially in your heart. You can imagine how you withdraw the energies from all directions and bring them here. And see how it feels. Also, the second most important thing is to ground ourselves. Because when we are connected with Mother Earth, it's our biggest protection. So how we do that? We do it, we can do it also by through our legs, imagining that we are growing energetic roots and going deeper and deeper into the earth. But also, even more important, to activate our energetic cord, which starts from the first chakra, from the perineum area, and also from the base of the spine directly and going through deeper and deeper to the center of the earth. And you can do it now. Just establish, activate, because it's already there. We just need to reactivate it. This channel that goes from our root to the earth, to the center of the earth. And we can breathe through this channel, this energetic channel with Mother Earth. When we inhale, we draw the protective energy, the nourishing energy of Mother Gaia, and we bring it in our body. And when we exhale, we bring all the toxins, all the emotional baggages to Mother Earth to transform, to alchemize. So the more we connect to the earth, the more grounded we are, the more we bring our energies back home into our temple. Just these two things, it's such a big weird. If you just take this from this course, believe me, you'll be so much more grounded. You'll experience so much more peace, harmony in your emotions, and you'll be protected, not taking so much more from the outside. Some years ago, when I was in an ashram in India, it was the time when I think in 2016 and 17, I was traveling a lot on spiritual journeys, meeting spiritual masters. I was very dedicated to the spiritual path. And there were some activations happening, some inner energies activating. And it was first time in 2016, and a lot of things happened from then. And I came back 6 months later to the ashram, and we were having a meeting with the spiritual master, who of course is at a very high level and can see everything in you, through you, and know everything about you. And we were like in a meeting in a room, about, I don't know, 30 people or so, and everybody was sharing. We were hearing his darshan presence, and a lot of activations were happening. And at some point he looks at me and asks, how come Dragosh is always in bhav? They call this in Sanskrit, means spiritual emotion. And that means, I didn't know then, but now I associate it with a state of presence, where you feel the presence of the source, of God, of the divine in everything. And because he could see in my field, in my aura, and I didn't know what was happening, I just felt very ecstatic all the time. And they said it's been going on, like I was like for a couple of months, and it was constant. And I shared what I did, the efforts I did on the spiritual path, and so on. And at the other meeting, I shared like what practices I was doing. Like I was doing a lot of energetic cleaning, which we'll learn in a moment. And he said, "No need." And I was shocked because they were teaching this, how to clear our energy, how to protect. And he said, "No need. When you are in presence, you're the most protected. You don't need anything. No, nothing can touch you. No emotions, no negative energies." And I was quite shocked, because I was very, dedicated to these practices. But it was such an important point, because when we are in presence, when our energies are at home in our bodies, when we are connected to the source, right, it's the biggest protection. This is when all our centers are aligned, and we can live from this space. And it's such a beautiful experience because you are living in this expansive state, in joy all the time or most of the time. And of course, it takes it takes divine grace to be able to be in this space. So that's why until then, because in day-to-day life we are not this connected, we need to learn the practices, right? But I'm sharing with you the direct way because this is the most important, and what we need to aim for this connection with the divine, to stay and to live from our home, which is the vertical dimension, right? The eternal presence, the world of the spirit. When the spirit, the soul, and the ego are aligned, we are um, an empowered empath, to say the least. We are much more than that, right? But for our purposes, this is when we are the most protected. So we'll do a few practices now. First of all, let's unite the three centers. I erased the drawing, but this, right? The center of connection with the higher self, the heart, and the lower center in our abdomen. You can, in Chinese, there are the dantians, the lower, the middle, and the high dantians. But it's a symbolism more in order to unify this field, to create more harmony within us, to bring ourselves into a state of more equilibrium, cooperation, if you want to call it, because this is how we are supposed to function. So what I invite you to do is to form like an infinity sign or an eight. So from our head, go to the back, comes through the heart, comes in front, then comes through the lower uh, center, then comes up through the heart, from the back, comes out from the front and the back. I think you got it, right? Let's try it for just a few moments on your own, and with the intention, and we do it from presence. All the practices, this is such an important point that will improve all the practices that we are learning tenfold, right? To do them from presence. So you just put your intention to here now. Just use your free will, your intention to be here now, to come out of the world of the mind and just connect with your breath. And you can imagine just this channel of light coming from above through your body, connecting to the earth. And just put your intention, I am here now. And from this space, we do the practice. We give actually the command to our ego to do the practice.